to was, the Colorado thing. Colorado's in no position of power.
No.
The Big 12 could say, we'll take your call when we're ready to take your – or Big 12, we'll take your call when we're ready to take your call. You were the one that left us the first time around. You are a group that we may look at. Now, I don't know how this is all going to shake out, so we don't want to speculate too much and say, well, Big 12 is going to go get this team and that team. Like, that's part of the fun. But Colorado's not first on my list. And the reason I'm phrasing it this way is you're talking about, well, maybe there's an academic Pac-12 or whatever with Cal and Stanford, and they do that. But if you're Colorado, like, what interest would you have in staying in that conference? If USC and UCLA leave, and let's say they're not done, and for kicks and giggles, it's Oregon and Washington, you're Colorado, you're looking around the room. Yeah, really, West Coast, like, you align with the West Coast, but what coast is left? I mean, really, it's the Arizona schools and a bunch of academics in Northern California. Like, how is that? I mean, maybe that's still how you feel you fit in, but that's not really a great spot.
And the smaller universities in Washington and Oregon. So, yeah I mean, those schools in Utah. Yeah, so it's interesting. The first thing I thought of was this is a really interesting TV negotiation when the Big Ten can be like, okay, we like that number, let's make a phone call.
Yeah.
Or USC is frustrated.
Or how about they already had made the phone call? We like that number, but what if we happen to throw in LA?
But USC is sitting there with UCLA thinking, all right, we don't like the way these negotiations are going to the Pac-12. We don't, kind of have any idea where we're going to be. Let's call and see if the Big Ten is really, we've done that. And then they go, well, what if we made this much money? And then it's just on. So,
hey, how about this? The definition of alliance, which of course was to slow down the college football expansion talk and concerns that the SEC was about to gobble up the entire country. A union or association formed for mutual benefit, especially between countries or organizations, based on affinity and interests, nature, or qualities. The state of being joined or associated. And I'm not making fun of it. It was something, it was almost like the shot across the bow that Bowlesby sent out to ESPN or in other years when college athletics has gotten a little bit haywire. The one thing about the ACC, we can look at them and you can say something. First of all, there are some damn good schools there. And they also have a TV contract that runs through 2037. And that right there is, to me, their insurance policy with ESPN. 2037. Now, does that mean they're all safe? Does that mean they can't be broken up? Nothing's sacred. But they do have an insurance policy where the Pac-12 and the Big 12 are, and especially the Pac-12 now.
Who's their primary TV partner?
ACC? It's ESPN.
ESPN.
Yeah.
Oh, weird. Who they really in bed with? SEC. I think some things could be made out to work a little bit. I think there's enough money flowing. Now, you're right though, because the grant of rights is what's keeping the Big 12 with OU and Texas for
at least a year,
at least a couple more years, maybe another year, whatever. So yeah, you're talking about big price tags. I don't know what the exit would be, but the ACC is not really a part of this equation right now. It's the Pac-12. That's the story.
They're the ones that are trying to circle the wagons.
And then once we know what's actually happening there, and something official, which until it's official, then it's all just speculation. But not every domino can fall all at once. So let the Pac-12 dominoes fall where they're going to fall, and then see what everybody does in response. But I think the one thing you could probably rule out is the ACC going and poaching teams, because I think now it's just so topsy-turvy that it's like, what would really be the point in that? And I don't know that their teams would all be up for them going and grabbing more teams and watering down their remaining contract. And yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see how this starts to crumble everything else.
And again, the ACC has a placeholder that they look down the table and, hope that one day Notre Dame walks through that door. But until Notre Dame is forced into doing that, they're not going to do it. And look, as an alum of an ACC school, if that conference were to break up, it wouldn't break my heart, And I think